be successful, but what? They're not successful. Why?
So that's his why buy. But what is he afraid of?
My personal style of education, but still entertain them, bring them along with stories, right?
If you're a real man, what do you do? I'm not the only one.
You can't wait to tell your spouse. You can't wait to tell your colleague. You can't wait to go to work and tell somebody. And you're like, oh my God, I can't wait. So what happened?
If you haven't seen my TV show, you should get cable. That's what you need to do.
From doing a TV show to doing corporate events, I've been so lucky to connect with many passionate entrepreneurs worldwide.
What I've learned from a business perspective.
Because this is the formula for success, no matter who you talk to. Attitude will drive your behavior. Would you agree? And your behavior will drive your consequences every single time.
We got the concept. Okay, we got the concept. We got the equipment, right? We got the brand. You guys got that. And then again, we got the content that we create. That's the easy part. This is the big one, the big C, which is the commitment.
What should you do? That's right. All right. 10Xers, do not fail me. True test. Here it comes.
There's skill, and then there's will. Listen to what I'm saying. There is skill, and then there is will. And here's the interesting thing. I know a lot of people who have a lot of skill, but have no what? Will, right? You ever look at somebody who's successful, and you say, why them? Why not you? Yes, okay, that's me too.
You have more control, but your costs are also going to be what? Higher.
Now, here's where some of the magic is starting to kick in.
You can talk to any CEO in the B2B business, any CEO. You walk into his office and they only care about three things. People too. Yeah, he with the suit, put it up. There you go. I hope you can see this. I'll try to draw big. Let's pretend for a moment that I had 7 territories. You remember I wrote that out? Yes or no? Boom. Territory 2, territory 3, all the way to territory number what? 7. So now I've segmented my market.
So content is going to start being created by machines. And I'm telling you right now that those people, you guys, the content creators that connect with people are the ones that are going to win. Some people think, well, it won't work for my industry. Really? It'll work for any industry. Trust me. The majority of the time when we're looking to fix something, repair something, or learn something, where do we go? YouTube. We don't even want to read anymore. We go to YouTube. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong.
When you're doing your thing, beautiful things begin to happen. It's like the law of attraction kicks in. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're in line with the universe. Everything works. And when you do your thing, everybody gets an automatic MBA, which stands for what? Mega Bank Account Money. Are you with me? So we don't want to do a thing. We want to do a what? Beautiful.
All right, put it all together for Victor Antonio. Here we go.
All right, there we go. I'm not here to mess around. You ready to learn, yes or no?
That's how it works in today's market. Whether it's B2B or B2C, you see the similar pattern. But how do you just, in other words, say you've got to start doing these things, pushing them, but also encouraging them. Oh, look at this. This is where it gets, dude, this is like so interactive with audiences, Matt. Can you imagine this with your customers? Check this out. Now, what does all this have to do with selling? It has everything to do with selling.
All right, welcome to another episode of Boom Sales After Dark, episode 102, man. Glad you guys are here. Glad you're joining me. We're doing these once a week, and I don't know. We'll keep doing these for a while, man. Anyway, here's how it works, man. I'm going to say hi to my friends on the chat real quick. Spend about 5 minutes there. Get into some content, and then I'll take your questions and answers. And if you can stay on topic, that'd be great. But if you just want to ask me anything, that's cool too. So anyway, because I can't read from a distance here, man, let's see who's on here. We're going to begin with, we got Jonathan Kimbrough says hello from the Institute of Resilience, man. I dig that name, man. Jonathan, man, thank you for being here, man. I like that name. Ruben, what's happening? From McAllen, Texas, man. I checked out your video, man. Real good, man. Way to go. You did it from the car. And my man, Chris Stone, if you love the intro, you love my videos, you love all the cool graphics, that's the guy. That's the criminal responsible for him. So that's the madman, the genius himself. Jada Beats. Nice thing I just sat down for lunch. Hope things are well. Appreciate you, Victor. Thank you very much. We got Nancy Baker in the house. Yes, right back at you, Nancy. Kevin Holt, what is happening, man? You are first on, let me see, what platform you're on? Facebook. You are first, man. Thank you for being here. Got you, man. Appreciate the effort. If you're not watching Victor Antonio Dion, you're losing out on sales and money. Because sales after dark, money never what? Sleeps, man. You got it. Let me see. I got my man here. Al-Sajjad Karim. I think I got it. Al-Sajjad Karim. I think I'm close, man. Al-Sajjad. Well, welcome to be here. My man, Ovi, the coolest Latino motivational speaker out there. My man, thank you for being here, Ovi, man. Happy New Year to you. And my girl, West Coast, Mia Knox. Always a pleasure to have you here. Love the new picture, Mia. Love the new picture. Arvin, what's happening? Haven't talked to you in a while. From Mumbai, India, man. Thank you for being here. You're too kind, man. Thank you very much, man. Kush Patel's in the house. Hey, man, Kush, thanks for being here. Heather, Gurney, Morgan, good evening right back at you. Essential Exception is always here, man. I know, man. I know. Anyway, Mike K from Orlando. Love it down there, man. You got to have some great weather going on now. Camlis Swant. Good morning, VA from India. Really like the idea and goal setting to differ personal from process. That's a big one. You know, I just interviewed Camlish. I just interviewed a guy, Matthew Pollard, and he's the guy that really gave me the idea of separating personal from process. And he's got a new book coming out January 19th. It's called The Introvert's Edge to Networking. So if you're an introvert, check out Matthew Pollard, The Introvert's Edge to Networking. The book before that was The Introvert's Edge to Selling. So good dude, man. Solid guy from down under, man. Matt Parker, six figures for the first time in life, and it's all because of you and GC, aka Greg Cardone. Matt Parker, congratulations to the six-figure club. Bravo, Matt. Screw that, man. You're getting official applause here, man. Good for you, man. For those of you who don't know, you can find my sales training program on the Sales Velocity Academy, but you can also find it on Greg Cardone's platform as well. Where you get it, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. As long as you're learning and you're selling and you're making money, man. So good for you, man. Chennai Roystan. Morning, Victor. Sending all the love from Sri Lanka. Boom, right back at you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Cesar El Chileno from way down under. Well, not as far as under the, Australia, but there he is. My man, Cesar again, man, I'm going to have you on the Sales Influence podcast. By the way, one of my new goals for the year is to do 2 interviews in Spanish. I think I mentioned that for you guys who are with me on Personal Goals. And Cesar, Mr. Storytelling himself, will be on in Spanish. So, although he can go bilingual, but we'll do it in Spanish anyway. Anyway, Manny Madrid, Eminem's in the house, man, from Minnesota. Manny Madrid from Minnesota, man. There's something cool about that. I don't know what it is, but there's something cool about that. Aloha, ciao, hello all. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Leon Daly. It's probably Leon, but I like saying Leon. It just sounds more vicious. Anyway, man, thank you for being here. Love a cup of tea, man. Welcome back. Always glad to have you on board. And a couple more that we'll get started. From Indonesia, bro, what's happening? Paulus Santo. Dude, we jaja. I like the last part. We jaja. I love that. Eli, what's happening? Rodriguez. I love your podcast, Victor. I have learned many ways of sales from listening to you. By the way, if you haven't checked out the Sales Influence podcast, I started doing some interviews. And man, some of those interviews are just incredible interviews, man. And then Chris does such a great job. Chris Stone, who I pointed out earlier, does a great job of editing that stuff. But man, we got some great interviews. Check out the last 2. The last two I had Matt King from Sales Change. Matt King, who's just personal branding standpoint, the guy's out there. And then I had James Muir, who wrote the book The Perfect Close. What an interview, man. He was just dropping nuggets, man. They both were. So just check out the Sales Influence podcast. The last two episodes, I just posted them. So you can get the podcast on Pandora, Spotify, whatever it may be, or you can watch the video. Sometimes I think the videos on YouTube that we upload for those interviews are actually just a little better because you can see the person. And one more, man, my man from Chi-Town's in the house, the Chicago kid now living in Cincinnati, Shai Suarez. Anyway, so let's, today's topic is kind of light. So, Chris Stone, the guy who does the editing, he's been nagging me. That's a good word for it, nagging. Chris is going to probably say something right now. He's been nagging me on this thing to get on this thing called Clubhouse. So if you're on Clubhouse, hit me with a 1, like Clubhouse, or hit me with a C. Let me know that you're on Clubhouse. So Clubhouse is this new app, right, where you go on there, you can create room, and you can have these conversations. It's not recorded. I like to call it like human radio, but it's basically, you create a virtual room, and you go in there, and, you just talk to people. You meet some of the coolest people in there. So I finally got on Clubhouse. So if you're on Clubhouse, hit me up. And so I went in there today. And one of the questions that came out of this I created a room and I talked about pricing and discounting, right? And upselling as well. But one of the topics, and before I get into my main topic, I just want to highlight this. There was a guy on there, a really cool individual, who was having a hard time selling his product, right? And service, rather, in this case. It was a service. And so as we got into it, why he couldn't sell his service, it became very apparent. Two things became very apparent. One is that he was too quick to discount or lower his price, right? Even though he had a great service, but yet he was quick to discount and devalue his price. A lot of it had to do with because he reacted to his clients. This is the second part. In other words, he says, Victor, sometimes I'm talking to the client, they really don't see the value. Let me slow down here. He says, I'm talking to the client, the prospect, and sometimes they don't see the value, so I have to discount my price. And I was like, what? Like in my brain just got knotted up. When somebody tells me that, the client didn't understand the value, so I had to lower my price. Now, if that's you, that's a problem. And as I asked him questions and I got dug deeper, it turns out he didn't know how to establish value. He really didn't know how to position the value. He was too busy selling on price. His biggest mistake was that he didn't do two things. One is really figure out how much people knew about his product or service. That was number one. Number two is that he was committing a common mistake a lot of people make, is that if you're going after the wrong client type, remember the ideal client profile, the ICP, ideal client profile. These are people who are more likely to buy your product than not. If you don't define your ICP, your ideal client profile, and you try to sell to everybody, that's a problem. And in my conversation with him, what I made him realize is that he was selling to people who, one, didn't understand the value, two, didn't appreciate the value. Which means I said, look, dude, you got to level up your customers. And he was like, what do you mean you got to level up your customers? I said, if you're selling to somebody who doesn't even understand what you're offering, you're talking to the wrong people. See, he's trying to sell people who don't really understand or appreciate his value from his product or a service standpoint. They don't understand it. So he's selling financial services. He helps people basically get started with an LLC, a limited liability corporation, helps them get their EIN number, right? And then he also helps them get some Dun & Bradstreet rating so they can get a line of credit. All that to say, he's doing all that. He's really putting that together for a business. But he's talking to people who are kind of thinking about starting a business. You ever talk to people who are always talking about starting a business but never get around to starting a business? And what I said to him, I said, you really got to learn to qualify people before you deliver value. This is important. Before I deliver value, before I even start talking about what I have to offer, I'm going to make sure that you understand my value. For example, if I'm talking sales training, which is what I do, I'm going to ask you, for example, you're a CEO of a company or a small business owner, you're the president. I'm going to ask you about sales. I'm going to ask you about your sales team. I'm going to ask you about your results, what you're doing. And if I hear the right things, then I'll tell you about my product or service. Other than that, I probably won't talk about it.
I mean, I'll mention it, but I'm not going to get into it because I'm not going to try to sell you if you don't understand the value. So he was trying to sell value to people who didn't really understand the value. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you. I want to back into that. I know it's a long way to get to what I'm talking about today, but we have to understand a person's mindset. What's the buyer mode? What are they in? How are they thinking? And I'm going to give you a simple model, something you haven't seen before, something new, brand new here on Sales After Dark. Okay, this is cool. And again, I'll grab some of the comments on the side, man. Some of you say the first time here, Taj the Great One. First of all, that's a great name. Taj the Great One, I love that. And a couple folks jumping on there. So come on in. Brian's here. Thank you, Brian, for being here. But I want to give you a simple model. Just use this as a template to think about people before you sell to them. So let's go through it. So I think there's 3 types of buyers. 3 types of buying modes, I should say. The first one is someone that is unaware, right? They're unaware. So let me get my marker going here. Sorry about that. So let's say there's somebody that's unaware. What do I mean by that? That's somebody who has no clue what's going on. I'll explain just a bit. Just bear with me. There's unaware, and there's people who are aware, but simply they don't care, right? Third one. There's people who are unaware. Then there's people who are aware. They know they have a problem, but they don't care. And then there's people who care, right? They care, but they're scared. This is selling in a nutshell. That's it. 3 types of buyers. The first buyer you're going to try to present to isn't even aware that they have a problem. They don't even know they have a problem. And because they don't know they have a problem, no matter what you do to present to them, it's not going to help because they're unaware. Now, second, aware, but they don't care. Have you met somebody who knows that they're losing money, that the service they're using, the product they're using is inefficient, and they're not getting the results they want, but they go, you know what, it's not a big deal, and they don't care. They don't want to talk about it. Then there's a third category. These are people who are aware, they do care, but they're scared to make a buying decision. Keep that in mind, okay? So, if I'm talking to either one of these 3, what am I trying to do? What am I trying to accomplish here? If I'm talking to somebody who is unaware, then I'm not going to talk about my product. I'm going to talk about I'll put this in a different color here. I'm just going to go into education mode. I'm going to educate the buyer. In other words, if somebody is unaware that they're losing sales, or in your case, they're unaware that they're losing efficiencies, they're losing revenue, they're costing too much. If they're unaware, your job is to come in first with the education, to basically highlight and explain things to them. This is that level up piece I was trying to explain to the individual in the Clubhouse chat room today, is that you have to first educate people. If they don't even know your value or understand how it fits or helps them, then you can't even sell yet. You have to educate them before you can sell them. So let's say that you educate the person. Okay, great. You move them to the next level. Now they're aware. Great. But let's say that you run it across the next type. The next type is somebody who is aware, but they don't care. Let's explain this character. This is a person who knows they're losing money, knows they could do it better, knows they could be more efficient, but they're like, yeah, I ain't got time for this, Victor. Don't want to do it right now. We're happy with our current vendor. We're happy with our current supplier. Even if you can show them that they're losing money, right? They're like, I don't care. I don't want to deal with this right now. So in this case, totally different approach. When you're dealing with somebody who's aware, but they don't care, then you got to create a sense of urgency. And that is, you got to show them how much they're losing, man. I mean, just show them how much they're losing. And that's where you have to really begin to sell. Because when you can show somebody how much they're losing by not using your product or service, how it's eroding their profit margin, whether it's cost or revenue or both, then you can really talk to them. This is the person that you have to kind of light up. We talked about in the chat room in the Clubhouse how you got to basically set them on fire. Because once you set them on fire, then they're going to come to you. They create that sense of urgency. So that's the second type. The third type, which I mentioned already, obviously, is that they care, they're aware, they care, but they're scared. Now, we've seen this buyer a lot. We've seen. So in many cases, this person who's aware, they care, but they're scared. They know they're losing money. Right? And they know they need to switch over, but they're scared. So your job here is to reduce their anxiety. That's your main job, is to reduce their anxiety. And this is where, and we've talked about this in past Sales After Dark episodes, where you have to basically walk them through how the transition from where they're at to where they want to be, how that's going to work. Your job is to reduce that anxiety and increase that certainty. So I want you to use this model going forward. When you look at a customer and you're talking to them, ask yourself, who am I talking to? Am I talking to somebody who is unaware? Because if they're unaware, then guess what? I got to go through the education phase. That means that client may not be ready. Again, I'm not saying you can't close them, but you're going to take some extra time just to educate them. Sometimes you're dealing with someone who's aware, but they don't care. Now, where do I see this one a lot? Like, I'll explain. Unaware, they're not doing anything, right? Let's say you're selling a software package that helps you do X, right? They're not doing anything. So you have to make them aware that there is this software out there that could help them. But then you run across the second type. These right here, they're aware, they don't care, and again, create a sense of urgency. This type of customers, they usually fall in the do-it-yourself category. What do I mean by do-it-yourself is that they're doing it their way. They're doing it by hand, they're doing it manually. For example, if you're trying to sell a CRM, they're still using a spreadsheet, right? These are the people right here who don't care. They're aware that they need to do something better, but they just don't care. So for example, instead of using a spreadsheet, what you're going to come in and try to sell them on, let me show you how the CRM system, our CRM system, is going to help you increase profitability. That's that type of client. This type of client's always interesting. You see this one a lot. They're aware, they care, they're scared. They're aware that you have a better product. They care that they're losing revenue, but they're scared to switch over. This is the type of person that's usually using your competitor's product. That type is using your competitor's product. And they want to switch over. They want to switch over because they're aware that they need to. They care because they're losing money, but they're scared. And this is where you have to show them how you're going to move them from this product over to that product. So let me wrap this up real quick. When you're talking to a buyer from this point forward, ask yourself, are they unaware? Do they kind of understand the need for my product or service? And they say yes, in your mind you go, yeah, they seem to know that they need it, that they're aware of the product or service. Then the next step is, if they know they're aware of the product or service you offer and how you can help them, but they simply don't care, then you need to focus on urgency. If they're unaware, you focus on education first, then move to urgency. Because I mean, this is the transition, right? Education, urgency, take action. But if they're with their competitor, they're using somebody else's product, they're aware, they care, but they're scared, then your job is to show them how the transition is going to work. So this is what I want you to pay attention to. In other words, who are you talking to? What mode are they in when you're talking to your prospect? And that is all I had on this one. It was short and sweet. I could have made it a longer conversation, but that's it. I'll take some questions and we'll go from there. All right, man, let's see what you guys got. I know this thing was scrolling and I just missed a lot of stuff. So I'm going to go back up to After Shy. So we got Chris here saying, what? Clubhouse is my jam. Anyway, Clubhouse is his jam. Okay. Taj, the great was his first time here. Taj, thank you for joining us, man. Love you being here, man. Let me see. We got Abu, Henna, Mustafa, Kamal. I think you need more names. Man. Anyway, hello from Thunder Bay, Ontario, man. Nice area. It's got to be cold, but it's a nice area. All right, Chris Martin. Savor the passion. I like that, man. Hey, Victor, thanks for the videos. You've helped bump me to 499% month-over-month growth. Dude, congratulations, man. Month-over-month. Nicely done. That's a beast number right there. Just saying, hi, y'all. I'll catch the replay. All right, Brian, we'll talk to you later. You're probably gone by now. Dr. Greg, Story, Leadership, Sales, Presentations, Training. Hi, all the way from Tokyo. Konnichiwa, otashiwa, Victor Antonio desu. That's all. That's as far as my Japanese goes, man. But anyway, thank you for being here, Doctor. I appreciate you. Excuse me. Your podcast. I'm currently on 63. Jamming, man. Man, you're really working through the numbers, aren't you, man? Well, check out some of the interviews. I mean, Chris, some of the interviews are really good because, I'm talking to sales experts, frontline salespeople as well, and some of the content is really good. So just blend that all in there, man. So get it. My man Abu coming back. I'm planning on starting a ghost kitchen in my town. I wonder if you would have any advice for that.
I don't even know what a ghost, I've never heard that phrase, Abu. Ghost kitchens. Man, explain that, because I don't know about anybody else, but I want to know what a ghost kitchen is. I kind of think I know what it is, but let me see what it is. You are really getting me thinking. Kelly, hola, man. Hey, man, that's it, man. I just want to get you thinking. That's it. Hano from New Zealand, finding the why and how people buy. Joey, you're awesome, man. Thank you for being here. Chris Stone's back. Let me see, what did Chris Stone? I think you were unaware of Clubhouse, then became aware and didn't care, but I'm glad I turned it into another VA masterclass. Very clever, Chris. Well done, man. Well played. I like that. Ruben, financial literacy. What about financial literacy? M, hi, Victor. Nice videos all the way from Indonesia. Thank you, man. I'm looking forward to going there one day. Tosh, this is good. I'm in high ticket sales, and even though they call us, we still face us. Yep. It's like they kind of get it, but they don't get it, right? It's almost like you got to figure out where they're at so that you can begin to determine where your presentation's at. If they're unaware, then the education begins. If they're aware, but they don't care, then it's all about creating that sense of urgency. Why now? Why haven't you made a decision? And if they do care, if you move them to the care piece, that's the interesting. Once you move them over to caring, it's how do you get them to kind of get over the mental hump of not being scared to take action. I think that's the hat trick right there. That's the tough part. Mark Stubson, these after dark directly relates to in-home sales. I would agree. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm glad you caught that connection very quick. Most people think it's just B2B, but it's not. It's B2B, B2C, or B2R, which I call business to residential. Elkin says, man, Happy New Year. Right back at you, Elkin, man. Thank you for being here. Shania, Royston, damn, I love it. My man, love it already. Anil, got it. This is Anil. Hi, I got it. It was in your headline title, your name, got it. Anyway, thanks for being here. Raj, bonjour, mon ami from Montreal. I added the mon ami, sorry. Anyway, so Chris Martin, what's happening? Victor, I'm about to pitch a client on a product's 6x their hope for price. Of course, I'm going to use cost versus price, but I could use another drop. So when you're pitching on a product, 6x their hope for price. I don't know what you mean by 6x. Is it 6 times the current price that they got, Chris? Give me a clarification on that, but I'll try to kind of try to highlight this. I'm about to do 6 for hope price. You know, again, dig into, like, cost price is one thing, but also, you know, Chris, dig into, you know, how do you get that 6x back? If you're charging them that, well, how do you get that money back? People want to know break-even points and return on investment. Like, a lot of people tell me, Victor, I don't know, return on investments, calculators, and break-even point calculators don't really work. And I think, no, I think that's part of the mix in terms of presentation. I want to know how your product's going to help me. I want to know how fast am I going to get my money back. Typical. You know, give me a case study. You know, typically when we work with companies like this, you typically see a break-even point at 3 months, and by 6 months, you start seeing a real good return on investment. After a year, you're going to see X return on investment. People want to know these things. Now, you also got to sell them on you. I always remind people, sell them on the logic, which is the calculators, on the pricing, but also sell them on you and your competency, man. So let me see. TJ, what's happening, man? Happy New Year to you. Welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. All right, what do you got, Ruben? I find that they stay unaware until they have a need. Like single guys don't see a need for life insurance, even though there are tax deduction and protection from the market. As soon as they get married and have kids, that all changes. Oh, I think you're absolutely right on that. Because, you know, and you bring up an interesting point, Ruben. It's a really good point you're bringing up, that sometimes they're unaware because their brain's just not fixated on that. And then a trigger moment happens. In this case, they get married. That's a trigger event, right? So that trigger event forces you to focus on things. And so sometimes we have to create that trigger event. So in case, for example, we get back to this gentleman that doesn't know Ruben, for example, we have to create that trigger event. We can say something like this, like, let's assume it's a young guy. He's 23, 24, right? And I would say something like this. I could create a trigger event. The trigger event would be, in 1 year, you're going to be 25, you know? And you can say something like this, 25. That means you're 1/3 done with your life, because the average guy lives to like 75, 76, right? I'm just giving you a hypothetical here. At 25, that's the time to actually start thinking about XYZ. And you can use a date, a birthday, turning 25 as a trigger event or something like that. So when there isn't a trigger event, then there's got to be ways to create a trigger event. Like this case, I would just use his age. But anyway, great point though. You're absolutely right. They only become aware when something happens. Great breakdown, simple, concise. I'll consider these 3 types of clients and how to proceed forward. There you go, Shy Man. Do your thing. And then we got here. Ghost Kitchen is a setup for preparation of delivery only meals while using other restaurants. What a great concept. So set up preparation of a delivery only meals while using other restaurants. So use them all as distribution points. I don't know, man. This is like, man, I rarely get stumped well, I don't know. This is one of those moments where I go, I don't know. I gotta give that one some thought. This is what you've done to me. After this, I swear, I'm gonna go up and look at ghost kitchens. But I think you're onto something. In other words, you're using other restaurants or other restaurant kitchens to prepare meals and actually distribute. That is really interesting. I don't know. That's my honest answer. I'm not gonna invent something here. But if I knew more, maybe on the next Sales After Dark, I'll bring it up. But anyway, cool. Just tuning in, my man, Doug Lehman. We'll catch the replay later, Doug. You said something about that is correct. So again, Chris, you said I'm currently working as a personal chef. I'm making about 75% profit. There's always a way, Chris, to, like even if you look at this business, you might want to talk to Abu about, his ghost kitchens. Might be some ideas there for you guys to collaborate on. But when you're talking to a customer and you're going to drop a big price on them, just make sure you condition them. If they're used to buying here and you're about to present something here, make sure you just ramp up, right? Begin to talk about the next level or the next big step in business. Really start using language like that when you start describing where you're going or where you want to take the buyer. So language does matter. So for example, if I'm talking to you, I said, Chris, I said over the last year, we've done A, B, C, and that's great. It's a small start. But let me tell you what some of the other big boys are doing or big girls are doing. They're doing this and they're investing this type of money. Then you have this third level here who's investing that type of money. And my question to you is, Chris, where do you want to be? Do you want to be at the 3X level? Do you want to be at the 6X level? Or do you want to be at the 9X level? Conversation. And now you're describing each of these levels and what the benefit of those levels are. Something like that. But remember, bring them up or else you're just going to sticker shock them. They're going to freak out. They're going to shut down and they're going to go, oh, I'll think about it and get back to you. So let me know what you think of that suggestion. Love to get your viewpoint. Manny Madrid, back. When you are in B2B, you have to discover and provide education and know the mountain nut objections to position so you can navigate education, urgency, and anxiety. You're on point tonight, Vic. Thank you very much. Mountain nut. People buy for 5 reasons: money, time, need, urgency, trust. You're on it, man. Thank you, man. I love it, man. Sorry I missed episode 101. So this is every Sunday, right? For now. I'm going to do it every Sunday for now. I don't know how many more I'm going to do. Like I said, I did the first 100. That was what I committed to. And then now, maybe Sunday, maybe every other Sunday. We're going to see how my schedule flows here, TJ. Unaware customers are a real task. I suppose that takes maximum time to close. Yeah, it does. When they're unaware, it's like you just got to, it's like, they didn't do any research. Or they were just simply not aware that could be done. Now, they could also be a quick sale. Depending on what the product or service is. But you got to take that time to educate. And I think too often we think people understand what we offer, our product or service. And then you talk to them, they go, look, people don't like to admit they don't know. And so you have to first qualify that the person you're talking to really understands the value of your product. I go back to the example of the gentleman in the clubhouse. He was like, I'm selling them, limited liability corporations, EIN, Dun & Bradstreet type of credit ratings. And if you're not at that level of thinking, you don't know. And because you don't know, no matter what the person says, it has no value because you don't really understand it. So what I told me how to do was explain these things and how it matters to their business if they want to get a line of credit. And then it was almost like, oh, so I got to really explain them. Like, yes, but maybe you're also talking to the wrong people. Taj, the great one, says, do you have a Cash App? I tried to send something through Super Chat, something through. I appreciate that, man. I do not. Maybe I should do that, man. Maybe I should do that. Anyway, Abu, thanks, Victor. I'm sorry I couldn't help you, Abu, but I'm wishing you all the luck in the world on that one, man. Mia Knox says, yes, ghost kitchens are what I'm working with. Well, there you go. A connection made. Why don't you guys chat about it, and maybe Mia can actually provide better information or content than I can. Let me see. Abu, 17 years cooking experience. Feel free to message me, and I will help where I can. There you go. I love you guys start networking, man. Ghost Kitchen is similar to Go Food or Grab Food then. Is it so? Oh, man, I love it. You guys are just, you're on it, man. Okay, cool. Let me see. Now, that is teaching. I should have written tax advantages, not tax deduction. My figures don't listen. You just took me to the next step. You're very welcome, man. Thank you for being here, Ruben. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you. Now, that's okay. I got you there. Got it. And then the last comment here is, boom, tips for having prospect trust, prospect trust and internet marketing. Always remember this, that when people always say, how do you create trust on the internet? To me, there's always two components. One is you take their point of view. Try to really understand where they're coming from, their anxieties, their fears, right? And then also, don't put your hand in their pocket. Keep their best interest in mind. In other words, really work with people and try to come across as you're really trying to help and not just grab their money. And I think it becomes harder, but I tell you, the best way of doing it is using video like this, just having a conversation. Hey, by the way, before I forget, so check this out. So I have a webinar coming up. So it's a webinar, and it's a half-day webinar, and it's on the 15th. So it's 1:15, and it's 21. God, I just had to write like 2021. Just feels weird to write that. So I have a webinar. It's called the Virtual Engagement Masterclass. So the Virtual Engagement Masterclass, again, it's a half-day workshop, and I'm going to get into everything that has to do with virtual engagement. So if you have to talk to customers and pitch like this, sell like this virtually, you want to join this masterclass. Now, it's $297 for half a day. But because you're hanging out with me, if you type in VEM 100, there's a $100 discount right there. So it's $197. I'm telling you, it's content that I've never presented on any of my Sales After Darks. We're going to talk about what do I do when I communicate with companies, when I'm talking to people and they're calling in and we're having these virtual conversations. And if you have to do presentation like a pitch or a sales presentation and you're trying to find ways to engage with people, how do you do it? I'm going to show you what I do. I'm going to walk you through the process of actually doing the engagements. And then I'm going to talk about all the tools in the studio in great detail. And then I'm going to give you some suggestions on how you can set up a cool studio based on your budget. So that's another piece. I'm also going to show you 25 different ways that you can engage your client or prospect via video. 25. These 25 are just... wait till you see it. I'm going to walk through the whole process. I've been doing the presentations. I think some of you know this already. Last year, when the pandemic hit, I pretty much lost 90% of my business. Gone. And I got to tell you, I finished up the year 2020. I'm doing good. I'm really happy. My numbers came in at 10% below the year before. But before you say boo-hoo, the number of hours I'm working down. Travel, almost zero. And then quality of life through the roof. So I consider it a big win. But basically, I've been able to build my business virtually. In fact, this year, I think I'll probably travel maybe 2, maybe 3 times this year. That's it. The rest I'll be generating virtually. And so I'll be talking about that as well during the Virtual Engagement Masterclass. That's what it's called. Now, if you just go to my website, victorantonio.com, at the top, just click, you'll be able to see the information. I'm telling you, it's going to be good. If you know how I deliver content, you know it's going to be good. So check it out. Webinar on the 15th, which is this Friday coming up, half a day. So again, it's going to be a small group. Right now we have about 6-7 people signed up because we just announced it this past week. So I'm hoping to have a small group, like about 20 people, no more than 20 people like that. You guys can all, ask questions and I can give you as much detail as you want. But again, if you have to talk to prospects, you have to sell clients, you have to do presentation virtually, this is the workshop for you. Again, it's called the Virtual Engagement Masterclass. Go to victorantonio.com, go to my website. You'll see the links there. And if anything, I'll be shooting out an email later on today so you can check that out. So anyway, wanted to mention that because I think that's big if you're serious. Let me see what else. We got a couple more that I'm going to jump off this thing. Kenry, what is happening, man? Great thoughts to convince by educating, letting them know that this is the best option for them by demonstrating what it is, by creating a sense of urgency, by adding the value on the product. That's it. I mean, Kenry, it's one of those things where people just want to know what is the added value. So I love that. Mia Knox says, will you have it recorded so I can view it later if I sign up and can't make it? The answer is, I don't know. I'm not going to put it publicly, but if you do sign up, I'll give you a personal link. How's that? Especially for you, Mia. Mia, you asked me, you're going to get it. So yeah, I'll say yes. For Mia, always yes. So what I'll do is, because I'm not going to post it anywhere else, so it's going to be a private link. So what I'll do is, you bring up a good point. So what I'll commit to, Mia, is once we record the half-day workshop, what I'll do is I'll provide a link for a month. So you can actually have a month to view it. And I'll make a point to do that. Let me write that down, sorry. So I'll make that adjustment, right? And you can view it for a month. And then after that, we'll take it off. But it's not going to be made public, and that's it. There's no repeat. By the way, I'm going to repeat the same webinar, but I don't know when. It'll be 3 or 4 months from now. But you want to get on this one now because, again, we're starting out the year. And again, if you need to talk to clients and you're having a hard time really engaging people, getting them to lean forward, I'm telling you, I'm going to show you some cool stuff. So yeah, hope to see you there. Is there a special price for Academy Lifers? It's the way you say that, Lifers. It's like jail, man. There was a $100 discount. So again, use that code, that VEM, right there. That's your $100 off. By the way, Lifers, you just get a lot of love at the end. So come on, Mark. Let me see you in there, man. It's going to be good. But let me see. Cool. You got it. So anyway, on that note, that's all I have for tonight. Final thoughts, as always, are going to be all right, final thoughts. So the first thing I talked about when I talked about the clubhouse individual, it's you got to know who you're talking to. And sometimes you can't level people up, right? They just don't have, it's too hard to find, to bring somebody up to your level to understand your product or service. That's a clear indication that you're targeting the wrong people. Now, if you're targeting the right people, they simply may be unaware. And if they're unaware, move into education mode. As somebody pointed out, it may take a little longer because they don't know. What you really want are people who are aware but don't care. That's when the certain sense of urgency kicks in. As Chris talks about, we had to do return on investment calculators and show them the value of what it means or how much money they're losing. And that's what we have to practice. And again, it's all about asking the right questions. And maybe I'll do another Sales After Dark on just asking questions and pulling the information out so then you can present it in such a way to show them how much money they're losing. But sometimes people are working with a competitor. They're using a competitor's product and you're trying to get them to switch over. So they're aware, they care, but they're scared. And this is the one you see a lot. I think this is the biggest category. So if you're trying to sell somebody on something and they're using a competitor, here's the good news. The fact that they're using a competitor's product is actually good news. Why, you say? Because think about it. If they're using a competitor's product, that means they know that they need it. They're aware. And they also care, right? So you already got the first 2 levels out of the way. You just need to switch them over. So when somebody says I'm using a competitor's product, I'm actually kind of happy because I don't have to educate them and they're aware that they need it because they're using it. I just need them to move over to my product or service. So keep that in mind. That's not bad news, right? When they do have a competitor's product, it doesn't matter. I got a couple more questions here and then I'll just jump off. Hey, Victor, had to give up the CLE pit game. This is so much better. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that, man. Hey, boss in the house from Dubai. A couple of people jumping in late, man. I'm about to leave, man. I'm about to leave. One more and I'm out of here. Elijah, you've helped me and my guys a lot, so I'm glad I found you, man. Thank you very much, man. Anyway, this is Victor Antonio signing off. Again, check out the webinar. It's this coming Friday, 3 hours. You and me, man. We're going to go at it. Use the discount code, which was that right there, VEM, Virtual Engagement Masterclass, $100 off. And see you on Friday. And what else? I think that was it. The Sales Influence Podcast, good interviews coming out there. Anyway, I'm wrapping up. It's Sunday. For some of you, you're getting the day started. Way to go. For some of you, you're about to go to sleep. Get a good night's sleep. This is Victor Antonio signing off. Always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care. See you next Sunday.